Welcome back to CTV Morning Live. We are continuing our Ask the Expert segment with Brenda Hollingsworth from OJ Hollingsworth Law Firm. Live phone calls right here on the air, 789-6559, extension 2803. You can always email us, Facebook us, tweet us. We'll take any form of question that you have coming in. One of the questions I did ask during the break, because I said, okay, all of those papers that need to get out, would it help if the individual went to their doctor, went to all of these places to try to collect them in a faster time period? And you had a very interesting answer.
Yeah, well, the bottom line is you'd never get everything that you need. The first thing we do is actually request what's called an OHIP summary, which is a list of everybody who's ever swiped your OHIP card. And when you go to the hospital, you have no idea how many doctors look at your chart, do this, do that. So we might have 47 doctor's requests that have to go out, and you would never be able to duplicate that.
We would know who had done that.
That's
so we would
right.
be lacking information, and then if you send in the report, they're saying you're missing things.
Well, that's right. And for most lawyers, getting the documents is included in the percentage fee that you pay, so you'd be doing a lot of legwork, and you wouldn't pay less. And I'm not convinced you'd be able to do it any faster. The hospital takes the time that it takes. We also spend thousands of dollars getting those records because they're not free, so you would be paying for that, whereas we're able to recover it from the insurance company most of the time. So it is, I mean, sometimes people come in when they meet with us with their ER reports, their emergency room reports. That's very helpful to us. Just gives us basically a description of what's happened. But in terms of getting the complete reports, I mean, they're often this high.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to do that.
Okay, it can be incredibly intimidating. So how will the lawyer, how do you help my case? Like, at the end of the day,
yeah,
what happens?
You mean as opposed to not having a lawyer?
So say
right.
I'm thinking I can do this on my own, right?
Okay, well the number one thing that I think, I mean, you never get to run parallel cases, so you never know for sure, but the thing that the insurance company knows is if you have a lawyer, you are prepared to go to trial, right? If you don't have a lawyer, they know you're not prepared to go to trial, right? And the cases that get the most money are where the lawyer shows that pay us what's fair or we'll keep going. And in the end, the threat of trial is often what makes an insurance company pay. So that's sort of one of those intangible things that if you have someone fighting for you, the insurance company knows that you're not messing around and that you're willing to take it as far as it needs to go.
And how often, even knowing that it could go to trial, do cases often settle out of court?
Oh, most. The vast majority. 4% of cases, motor vehicle accident cases is the statistic that I know, but it might even be less for slip and falls. 4% of cases that are filed with the court in Ontario go to trial. So it's a small percentage, but a whole lot of them settle right before. So
right down to the wire.
Yeah, there's a bit of chicken that ends up being played, and you have to look like you're prepared. But the other thing is, I mean, in order to meet the test that you have to meet, like for a car accident, that there's a serious and permanent injury, as a lawyer, I know how to get a report that says that. I know what doctors write the right reports that insurance companies respect. I know how to set that up for you. I know the right timing to set it up. And so all of that, and I fund it, so all of that is something that you probably couldn't do on your own. A lot of people think, okay, well, I'll get my physiotherapist to write a report, and when the insurance company sees physiotherapist says my muscles aren't lined up properly, they'll pay. Well, maybe in a smaller case that might be true. And I mean, not every case needs a lawyer.
Right. I mean, and certain cases are.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what is around the value of saying, listen, it's not a big enough case for you to kind of head into this road, like head on this path, and you're better off to just kind of settle things on your own, or that you say, listen, this is the right way to go?
It's really difficult to give a general answer to that. Otherwise, I just put it on my website and everybody would be able to self-select, because there's cases that might be too small for me, but where you still should have a personal injury lawyer. It makes a big difference. It's not only the injury, but what is your loss of income? If you're a high income earner and you've missed a lot of work, even just a couple of months, but you've got a big chunk of loss of income, that could be worth it. Whereas the same injury on somebody who didn't work wouldn't be worth going to a lawyer. If it's tricky, if you have pre-existing conditions that might impact, you probably would at least benefit from the advice of a lawyer. So that's what I tell everybody, right? Get legal advice, and then I mean, I'm able to tell very early if it's something where, yeah, you should have a lawyer, or no, you shouldn't.
Have you ever been really surprised, or are you at the point in your career, I mean, you've been at that nothing really surprises you in this industry?
I have been surprised at how well people have recovered from very serious injuries, thankfully. I can think of a couple of clients where they were in the hospital for a long time with multiple system failures, and now they're pretty much back to where they were. You know, maybe a few aches and pains, but where they've made excellent recoveries. So I'm always able to tell people, you know, have hope. I've seen worse, do better. So that's a good thing. And I've also seen declines where you wouldn't necessarily expect it. People whose injuries, physical injuries, may not be that bad, but where they slip into sort of very serious depression, those are not as good as stories, because it's harder to prove when the injuries don't look that bad, but the person isn't functioning very well at all. So we have those kinds of cases too.
Well, and you see that, right? Because it affects everything in life, and that trickles down to family and to work, and there's so many different possibilities with what happens to each individual. We're going to take a short break. Please get in your questions. You can send them in via Twitter, via Facebook, via our email. Give us a call live on the air, 789-6559, extension 2803. And do keep in mind, your firm does not deal with medical malpractice. Essentially, you have great people that you can connect people with.
That's right.
But that's not one of your specialties within the law firm.
Right.